All right, we're back with another podcast from Content Creation 2025 school year. This group is Next Gen Beats. So they're going to have a little fun this year talking about different music, different artists. Maybe listen to these guys because the music that maybe you're listening to is quite possibly not the music that you should be listening to. So each episode, they could pick a different theme, different artist, different song. They go for a deep dive into the artist and go into the songs themselves, and they just kind of find some really cool things that maybe we should be listening to. And we're also on the side going to make these guys a playlist so that you could hop on Spotify and maybe listen to some of the songs that they're listening to, which we'll have a little fun with that. We'll announce kind of how that's going to work later on. But without further ado, you've heard enough from me, because most importantly, it's not about me. It's about Nia and Penny. We need to get to them. And now is their time to shine in Next Gen Beats. Without further ado, let's hear from them.
On this episode of Next Gen Beats, we're going to talk about a little about ourselves, expectations, and what our podcast is. Just hang tight.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Next Gen Beats podcast. This is episode 0 for November 3rd. I'm Nia, and with me as always is Penny.
On today's episode, we'll tell you a little about ourselves and what our podcast Next Gen Beats is about. We'll even give you an idea about what you are in for in this podcast. Nia, how about you get us started by telling our listeners how our show came to be about?
Thank you, Penny. Well, for starters, music has always been a way for both Penny and I to rewind and relax. Especially as students stressed out about school, we always turn to music as a way for us to escape.
We are both Herricks Middle School 8th grade students who have a love for music. I know what you may be thinking. How are we even able to start a podcast? Well, we're both lucky enough to be provided a class in our school with proper equipment needed to make our podcast. Now for our perspective on the topic.
Penny and I both love listening to music in our free time. Other than that, we both love discovering new artists who have the talent, just not the fame. Moving on, Penny, can you tell the listeners what we're going to do in the course of every podcast?
Thanks, Nia. So, in our first segment, we're going to be talking about the artists that either of us are listening to. Then, we're going to introduce them to you and talk a little about the type of music that this artist makes and where you can listen to them. In our future episodes, we're going to talk about the artists, recommend songs to viewers, and dive deeper into them. This segment is going to be called The Beat of the Day.
Our second segment is going to be called Name That Song. In this segment, we are going to say what each of us thinks our favorite song is of this artist and what the songs the listeners should check out. This segment will be about 2 songs, one from each of us. They'll be from different artists that we have mentioned in the first segment. And don't worry, if you miss the name of the song, we'll always have the song name in our show notes. So Penny, I just talked about the kind of music I like. What kind of genres do you listen to?
Well, honestly, I don't really have a specific genre. I mean, I listen to a lot of different stuff, like Queen, Tyler, the Creator, stuff like that. I don't know. But, yeah, it's just, all over the place. So I'm pretty open, I guess. I'm also, using this podcast to, expand and explore some new songs and maybe make the ultimate mixtape.
And how much fun would it be at the end of the year for us to have this ultimate playlist to listen to and for our fans to listen to?
It would be pretty cool. The playlist will be shared and stuff, and it'll, include a lot of different songs. So, yeah.
Please take a look at our show notes to find out how you can get in touch with us here.
All right, so Nia, where can you find us?
You can find us online at Twitter and Instagram with the username at Herricks Studios. You can also find this podcast on your favorite app by searching for Herricks Studios. If you would like to leave us a review, please do so on Apple Podcasts, and we might read it on the show.
That's going to be it for episode 0. Next time, we look forward to more artists. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
This podcast is a production of Herricks Studios with Mr. Heit and the Content Creation Foundation's 8th grade elective. The views and opinions expressed in these recordings do not necessarily reflect the views or position of Herricks School District.